begin headlines with our UFC Fight Night main event. It goes to Amir Albazi by split decision over Kai Kara-France. This was a flyweight title eliminator, and it is Amir Albazi who moves forward in what was a close fight. A lot of fans are in an uproar about the scorecards, a lot of them throwing out that word robbery. It wasn't that for me, although I did believe, however close the fight was, that it was a clear win for Kai Kara-France.
Albazi's going to learn a lot from this fight. He got the win. It was close. I hear people complaining. It could have gone either way.
Yeah.
It was a split decision.
Yeah.
One judge saw it for Kai Kara-France. Two saw it for Albazi. It was close, and neither guy can complain about the loss. You really can't.
I agree with
you really can't.
I agree with you 100%. I was like reading all the comments for people saying that he got robbed, that Kai Kara-France got robbed. It was a robbery, this and that. I was like, no, he did not get robbed. It was a very close fight. Could have went either way.
Yeah. They both had moments.
Talk about robbery. Things that we have spoken about over and over and over again ad nauseum. When you speak about robberies, it can't be thrown into play in a close fight. It can't.
All right, Ronan MMA, welcome back to the channel. Dude, if there's one narrative in MMA that drives me absolutely up the fucking wall, it is that a close fight cannot be a robbery. What a stupid fucking statement that is, and I'm going to apologize in advance for the language I might use in this video, because this irritates me to the nth degree, okay?
Look, I can't speak without swearing, and I've only got my grade 10, and I haven't had a cigarette since I've been arrested, and I'm ready to fucking snap. Because if I can't smoke and swear, I'm fucked.
But I just want to talk about how fucking stupid that is. Because, first of all, they can be. They can be. They can be. That's all you need to say, okay? There's not even really evidence or anything like that I can show you that can prove that a close fight can be a robbery, but it fucking can. I don't understand where that sentiment even comes from. I think the issue is that the term robbery gets thrown around a ton online in Instagram comments, Twitter comments, and tweets, and whatever the fuck. I don't have Twitter. I don't know. I see it a ton in the Instagram comments, and fair, okay? It's annoying because after every somewhat controversial decision, we do in fact see the robbery comments, and yes, it's annoying. I personally reserve the word robbery for a very special and specific instance, okay? I think the last time I actually called a fight a robbery was Paddy Pimblett versus Jared Gordon. There might have been a couple random ones of prelim fighters or early prelim fighters even in between that time, but I don't use that word very often. I will say if there is a controversial decision, whether or not I think the person that won, and sometimes I don't agree with the judges. I still don't call it a robbery because sometimes they are too close to call. Sometimes they are ambiguous. Sometimes it would determine on whether or not the angle you were watching from or things like this. If you saw a strike land that didn't actually, or if you saw something miss that didn't actually. But there are close fights that can be robberies. If I'm being honest, I didn't even think Kai Kara-France versus Amir Albazi was that close. I thought it was pretty fucking clear who won that fight. And that's how I determine whether or not a fight is close or not, okay? Maybe they were close in terms of numbers. Not really, though, dude. You can check the stats. And I want to talk about these dumb fucks who are talking about the percent that he missed. That literally doesn't fucking matter. This isn't boxing. We're not scoring defense, okay? If Amir Albazi got out of the way of 98% of Kai Kara-France's shots, and Kai Kara-France still landed more significant strikes, he would win that fucking fight. Hey, you stupid fuck. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. We don't talk about the ones that miss in this sport. I don't care if he landed at a 29% clip. If he was missing so much, why the fuck wasn't Amir Albazi countering him, eh? Like, are you kidding me? Right? That is the dumbest fucking thing ever. The MMA-holes, whatever the fuck his channel is called, said that. I don't know who that guy is. I've only just heard of him recently. I've seen him maybe once or twice before. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. Obviously, his channel is way bigger than mine. But fucking what the fuck, dude? Huh? Why are you talking about the ones that missed? That doesn't matter. Kai Kara-France missed a fuck ton. Yeah, sure. He still landed more than Amir Albazi. And if he missed so much, where were the counters from Amir Albazi? And also, you stupid fucks, stop talking about octagon control. Stop talking about octagon control. Again, I'm going to apologize for my fucking language.
Look, I can't speak without swearing, and I've only got my grade 10, and I haven't had a cigarette since I've been arrested, and I'm ready to fucking snap. Because if I can't smoke and swear, I'm fucked. And so
But I am unbelievably irritated with this shit. A close fight can be a robbery. John Jones versus Dominic Reyes, relatively close fight. That was a fucking robbery. Okay? Paddy Pimblett versus Jared Gordon, relatively close fight. That was a fucking robbery. Okay? Macy Barber versus Miranda Maverick wasn't all that close, but sure, let's call it a close fight. Was a fucking robbery. And Kai Kara-France versus Amir Albazi was a fucking robbery. Point blank, period. There's no fucking argument in which... Dude, look at... Well... People keep talking about the scoring criteria as if it's impossible to understand, as if it's so subjective, as all these fucking issues with it. It's just not true. Simply not true. I'm going to make it larger. Fuck it, dude. Fuck my face. Who needs my face, okay? Let's read this together. I can't believe we have to do this again, but let's read this together. We're all supposed to be MMA fans here. Effective striking / grappling shall be considered the first priority of round assessment. Oh, does it say anything about how much he missed? No, it doesn't. Okay. Rightio then. No fucking fighting. Effective aggressiveness is a plan B and should be considered, should not be considered unless the judge does not see any advantage in the effective striking / grappling realm. Cage / ring control plan C should only be needed when all other criteria are 100% even for both competitors. This will be an extremely rare occurrence. True. Okay, now let's go over this. I'm going to make it smaller again so we can see my ugly face, and then we will talk about this because I want to talk about, even if you want to say that the effective striking / grappling was even, which it wasn't, okay? We can look at the numbers. Kai Kara-France won more fucking takedowns than fucking Mini Bilal, okay, dude? If we move to the next criteria, which was aggressiveness, right? Not cage / ring control, right? That's the last thing that we look at. Aggressiveness would have favored Kai Kara-France. Because why? Oh, because of the number that you fucking retards keep throwing around that he missed so much. Kai Kara-France was actively throwing more. Kai Kara-France was actively doing more. It doesn't matter that he was on the back foot or his back was against the cage. He was being more aggressive by definition. He was throwing more shots. He also landed more shots. Amir Albazi was, sure, cage / ring control. But if we even have to go to plan B, if we even have to go to the second criteria, which is aggressiveness, it automatically goes to Kai Kara-France because of your dumb fucks arguments. Hey, you're the one talking about how much he missed, how much he threw. That's literally the second scoring criteria. Who's being aggressive? Okay, he may be getting backed up against the cage, but when he goes, that's being aggressive. And when Amir Albazi doesn't do a fucking thing back, that is a lack of aggressiveness. Okay, so the aggressiveness was not equal. We would not even go to ring / octagon control. We fucking wouldn't. Now let's take a look at the definition of effective striking, because this is another thing, okay? Anthony Smith was talking shit about this as to, well, effective striking is such a fucking stupid definition because it's completely subjective. How is a jab to the shoulder an effective strike? This was a tweet that John Anik was talking about. How is a strike to the shoulder? It's not. If somebody lands on your fucking, that's not an effect. That's not a significant strike. Significant strikes is effectively everything that is not a jab. Okay? And there's a reason for that, but you can weigh them subjectively. We've watched the sport long enough that we see what certain strikes do to people. Okay? You may not know the immediate impact that a single calf kick causes, but you know what the fuck happens when it does affect them. Okay, so you can weigh that. You can say, oh, his leg, he's starting to not move correctly. That must have done a lot of damage. It's not fucking rocket appliances, okay? Look at this shit, dude. It tells you right fucking here. Legal blows that have immediate or cumulative impact with the potential to contribute towards the end of the match, with the immediate weighing in more heavily than the cumulative impact. Successful executions of takedown, which Amir Albazi did not have, okay, 2 of 9, 1 of 9, pardon me. Kai Kara-France got more than he did, which is pathetic. Submission attempts, okay, which he had 1 that failed, okay. Reversals and achievements of, and Kai Kara-France reversed him at the end of that round where he was in that submission attempt and was raining down elbows, so fuck y'all. And the achievement of advantageous positions that produce immediate or cumulative impact with the potential to contribute to the end of the match, with the immediate weighing more heavily than the cumulative impact, okay? It shall be noted that a successful takedown is not merely a changing of the position, but the establishment of an attack from the use of that takedown. So you need to do something. Whoops, I just moved my fucking face off the camera. You need to do something with that takedown in order to. So, okay, immediate weighing more than the cumulative. Now, what do we mean by immediate? Okay, so Joanna Jędrzejczyk's getting tagged with a shot on the forehead, and all of a sudden she looks like fucking, like Jimmy Neutron's haircut was just his head shape, right? That would be immediate impact. Slicing somebody open with a fucking elbow, right? That would be immediate impact. Closing up somebody's eye because you broke their nose or something, or whatever, immediate impact. Cheeto Vera kicking Sean O'Malley's leg, and now it's rolling all over the place. Immediate impact. This is not rocket science, people. Immediate. It's got a definition. Okay, it means something, right? When it's immediate. As soon as that happened, this happened after. Okay. Now, we also look at what? Hematomas, cuts, the leg damage like I spoke of. If a guy curls up from a fucking body shot, so like Alex Caceres hitting Daniel Pineda with those nasty body shots, and he curls up and doesn't know what the fuck to do, this is an immediate impact. If we're talking about headshots now, because that's about all the fuck that Amir Albazi landed, we're talking about, like I said, cuts, hematomas, which, by the way, Kai Kara-France had fucking nil. All right. His face looked slightly swollen and slightly red after the fact. Barely. Looked pretty much fucking brand new. Okay. We're also talking about wobbles, right? Or knockdowns. Did Amir Albazi have any knockdowns? Did he? Don't think so. Did he have any moments where he maybe wobbled Kai Kara-France? No, there was never a moment where Kai Kara-France was wobbled. There were a couple moments in the opening rounds where it looked like he stung Kai Kara-France pretty good. And also, the timing of those shots were decent because Kai Kara-France was oftentimes either throwing a strike of his own or on one foot. So it kind of like stopped him in his tracks and then he had to keep going. But he was never fucking rocked, hurt, to the point where he was about to be finished, right? Which is what effective striking says, leading to the immediate or the cumulative impact to finish a fight. Kai Kara-France was actively doing more damage everywhere. He was actively landing more strikes everywhere. The numbers are the numbers. I know that they don't tell the whole story all of the time, but they tell a lot of the story most of the time. Okay? And so, for instance, when you have a guy like Petr Yan fighting Jimmy Rivera, and Jimmy Rivera is piecing him up on the feet, but at the end, Petr Yan drops him, hurts him, and almost finishes him. Well, that's an easy round to score because there was only one person that came close to finishing the fight. Only one person hurt a guy significantly, and that was Petr Yan. But when you have two guys that don't do that to one another, okay, outside of round 3, give Albazi round 3, don't need it. You can honestly score the rest of the rounds for Kai Kara-France, and you would not be a bad judge. Okay? Outside of something like that happening where Petr Yan drops Jimmy Rivera, okay, at the end of every round, essentially, after he was getting pieced up on the feet, they weigh that more. Amir Albazi had no moments like that, okay? So in a fight where we don't have any moments like that, we can look at the numbers for a large portion of the story. And if you look at the numbers, they are all in favor of Kai Kara-France, even in the round that Amir Albazi had his back for 3 fucking minutes and was unable to finish a choke. Okay, and also, I want to talk about something else. A lot of people use the term robbery on a macro sense, okay, which is fine, right? You back out, you look at the fight as a whole, and you say, oh, that guy won, that's a robbery. If you look at the micro, it is even easier to call it a robbery, okay? Because you could look at Sal D'Amato's scorecard, which is wrong, okay? He gave 1, 2, 3 for Amir Albazi, right? But those are not the most contentious rounds. Those are not the most controversial rounds. So let's put his scorecard aside because the real robbery here was what Chris Lee did, right? Chris Lee scored round 4 for Amir Albazi, which means in that 5th round, unless Kai Kara-France had gotten a finish, and this was the case for Sal D'Amato's card also, but again, those rounds are not as controversial. Kai Kara-France there was nothing he could do outside of a finish, which is insane, okay? Because it was pretty clear up to that point, at least in my opinion, and the opinion of the vast majority of the population, that he was ahead on the scorecards, or at least should have been. Round number 4, that's a robbery. That scorecard is a robbery. That scorecard caused the fight to go in the opposite direction, because had he scored that round correctly, which in my opinion could have only gone one way, and I don't think that there's any disagreement on that. Even the people that think Amir Albazi won, I don't think anybody disagrees with round 4. That's a robbery. That cost him the fight. Okay? That cost him the fight. That cost him $100,000. That cost him a number 3 in the world ranking. And I get it that he's already lost to the champion and he's already lost to the number 1 contender. That doesn't fucking matter. It's not your career, right? It's his career. And he's trying to work his way back up. And he was having moments in that second Moreno fight before it was a perfectly placed liver kick. You know what I mean? And he's better than Amir Albazi. So if we want a true meritocracy, which I know it's funny to say that because the UFC is not a meritocracy, but most of the time it is, right? Outside of all the superstars, it becomes a meritocracy. And at flyweight, there are no real superstars. So we do, in a sense, get a meritocracy. But Kai Kara-France is better than Amir Albazi. He should be getting the opportunity. He should have went home with his extra $100,000. And he didn't. And he got fucked. And that is, by definition, a fucking robbery. Okay? Close fights can be robberies. Okay? Because you can even, fucking Jesus, man. You could even have a close round be a robbery. You could have a close round that has a clear-cut winner. Okay? You can. And it doesn't matter that it was close. There is still a clear winner. You know what I mean? Like, there were Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards. Almost every round was close and competitive. Almost every round was a clear-cut round for Leon Edwards. And I think most people agree with that. I know there's some people that really like Kamaru Usman that don't, but I think that a lot of people do. Aljamain Sterling versus Henry Cejudo. There were a lot of close rounds, right? A lot of them were pretty clear-cut for Aljamain Sterling, okay? It's simple. You can have a close round and it be a robbery. You can have a close fight and it be a robbery. You can have one scorecard that fucks up royally, that creates a robbery for the entire fight. Chris Lee's scorecard is why this is a robbery. Round 4 could never be an Amir Albazi round, and it got scored as one. That's a robbery. Point blank period. Point blank period. Stop fucking saying that a close fight can't be a robbery, because you know what the problem is? I don't know if I touched on this earlier on. I did, but then I didn't finish my thought. The part about how this word gets tossed around a lot online, in the Instagram comments, on Twitter, in comments and replies and shit like this. That's the problem. We've seen this happen like politically, and I don't want to get political, but in my opinion, the terms racism, homophobic, transphobic, fascist, Nazi, things like this have all lost their meaning. Reason being, they have broadened the definition to be so large that you could almost call anybody that you don't like a racist, a homophobe, a transphobe, a fascist, a Nazi, right? When a definition is way too broad, it means nothing, okay? Those words all have meanings. And now online, in the online political discourse, they don't. They've ruined all those words. I feel as though this is happening with the term robbery, and people that actually watch and care about the sport, you know what I mean? Online is a big portion of it. They see they see this and they go, fucking Christ, man, everybody says this. And then they feel the need to defend every close fight as not being a robbery. There are certain robberies. They can be called out. And just because thousands of people online call out all these other somewhat controversial decisions as being robberies doesn't mean the ones that are actually robberies aren't. John Jones versus Dominic Reyes was a robbery. Paddy Pimblett versus Jared Gordon was a robbery. Miranda Maverick versus Macy Barber was a fucking robbery. Carlos Condit versus Robbie Lawler was a robbery. There are plenty fucking robberies that are actual robberies. And again, you can have them on different levels. You can have the macro or the micro, or you can have both, dude. Right? Because the micro will effectively. So had Sal D'Amato scored the fight for Kai Kara-France, Chris Lee's scorecard wouldn't have mattered that much, but that scorecard still would have been a robbery scorecard. He would have attempted, whether intentionally or not, with malice or not, to give the fight to Amir Albazi undeservingly so, based on the fact that he gave him a round that he clearly lost. Okay. But because Sal D'Amato also scored that round, or that fight, for Amir Albazi, it then effectively made the entire fight a robbery. You can have a close fight that can be a robbery. Stop fucking saying that you can't. Like and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'll see you at the next video. Bye-bye.